Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our last end of the year live broadcast, and we are going to you live. And I hope everyone is having a wonderful time. Today, we are talking about 2024, the new visa bulletin, the January visa bulletin. We are live talking about that today. And I am going to be answering all questions that you have about this visa bulletin. And you'll see where we've had some progress, and you'll see where it hasn't gotten so much progress. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And meanwhile, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I'll be trying to answer all your questions. We are live everywhere right now. We're live, and that's what we're going to be doing. So if you don't know me, I'm Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer who really cares about helping you reach your immigration goal. That's what we do here at Goldstein Immigration Lawyers. We're passionate about this. Today, I got 2 phone calls this morning, and both people hired us. Both people had horrible immigration problems that we are experts at solving, and it makes me feel super great about my work. I feel like I have the greatest job in the world. I'm coming to you live from a dreary, rainy downtown Los Angeles. And if you put in the comments below where you're from, I always like to find it interesting to see where people are tuning in from. That's really pretty cool. So if you do that, that would be exciting for me. Put them in the comments below. Hope everyone's doing great. So let's get right into it. The January Visa Bulletin. January Visa Bulletin. What's it all about? What's going on with that? So the Visa Bulletin for January shows some modest improvements in some categories. Let's compare the Visa Bulletin in December with the Visa Bulletin in January. So the way the Visa Bulletin works is that each particular, you have to know your priority date. That's the date that you filed your application. You have to know the type of application that you filed, right? Employment-based, family-based. Was it your sibling that petitioned for you? Was it your husband, your wife? Whatever types of case it was, you have to know that. Then you have to figure out your country of chargeability. If you're from China, India, Mexico, or the Philippines, well, they have singled you out for extra waiting time. Is this fair? Is this reasonable? I don't think it is. If I were designing the immigration system, I would not design the system at all. I think it's absurd. But nevertheless, this is what Congress came up with. So we're stuck with it. Anyway, so once you have those data points, you know the type of application that you filed, you know the country of chargeability, you know what immigration case that you have, which type of case. Then you look at the Visa Bulletin every month. And one of the mistakes that people make when it comes to the Visa Bulletin is they assume that the Visa Bulletin is a logical system that progresses from month to month in a logical way. It does not do that at all. What it does is it skips around. Sometimes it'll jump forward. Sometimes it'll go backward. Sometimes, it will stay in the same place for a long time. That is what happens. And so you have to be prepared for this. So let's take a look at the specific categories. So starting with F1, unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, you will see that in December of 2023, for all countries other than China, India, Mexico, and Philippines, they were processing cases in December on January 1st, 2015. And it's the same place for January of next year. Now, the next category are spouses and children of permanent residents. Spouses and children of permanent residents is an important category. Many of our clients fall into this category. So if you petition for your husband or your wife and you're a permanent resident, this is the one you want to pay attention to. Take a look at that, and you'll see that in December, we were at February 8th, 2019. And in January, we're at November 1st, 2019. So we jumped from March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. We jumped 9 months in 1 month. 9 months in 1 month. And if you go across the board to the other categories, you'll see similar jumps for the other countries. This is great news if you are a permanent resident who petitioned for your husband or wife, your spouse. Unmarried sons and daughters of permanent residents is the next category we come to. And you'll notice that in this category, we were on September 22nd, 2015 for all chargeabilities. Now we jump to October 15th. October 15th is a similar date for all the other countries. So we've seen some modest jumps and modest improvements. And let's go to sibling petitions. December, we were at April 2007. And we jumped to 1 month to May of 2007. So you'll see modest jumps. So let's take a look at employment-based cases. The one that I care about the most is EB3. And for EB3, you'll notice that all countries of chargeability was February 1st, 2023. And now we are on September 1st, 2023. So big jumps there. So I would say that I am pleasantly surprised that there has been significant improvement in these areas. And I hope that this is going well for you, and I hope that that's good. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the visa bulletin. Is this important to you? Do you have questions about it? Has it? I see we're getting some questions on TikTok and some other places, and I'm going to chime in and answer those questions in just a minute. But I have some other questions that people sent me this week that are really good questions, and I'm going to jump into those now. The first question was from someone named Sardar Hamad. He said, "We have a case for my sister set for an interview and her husband and 4 kids, but now he doesn't want to go to the interview and isn't letting the kids go to the interview. Can my sister go for herself?" Well, let's dive into that. So I'm not quite sure what type of case this is, but if it's for the sister, and the sister has an interview and her husband won't go to the interview and won't let her 4 kids go to the interview, then the upshot of this is that the sister could go by herself, but the kids cannot go and get visas without the husband's cooperation. So the husband doesn't go to the interview, doesn't let the kids go to the interview, and the sister goes to the interview. Then the best, what could happen is that the sister gets gets an immigrant visa and gets a green card, and the husband and the kids don't. And there's nothing you can do to fix that. Let me know if you have questions about this. I'll stop for a moment to answer a question from TikTok. Nawazi Ecom, how is Islamabad processing times nowadays, please? What is going on with the Islamabad processing? Islamabad is seriously screwed up. The U.S. consulate in Islamabad, and and it's very discouraging because they're not processing cases in a reasonable period of time, and that's frustrating. So that's frustrating. All right, let's take another question here. We have a question now. Let's see here. We have a question now from Ahab Abu Asa. Let's see here. How long does it take for an embassy to check and update the I-20 and print the visa? Well, that is a great question. It's a simple question, but the answer is not so simple. How long does it take for the consulate to do something is like saying, how long is a piece of string? It depends, right? It depends on how many factors. It should take a matter of days for the consulate to do this. But in fact, what happens is the consulate takes a very, very long time sometimes. Things drag on and they drag on and they drag on. And that's why we have devoted our practice to helping people. And we do that by filing lawsuits. We file lawsuits to challenge processing delays. And so if you are in a situation where you're waiting for your student visa, and it's just taking forever, then we can help you with this. We can. We really can. All right. Let's take a question from TikTok again. We have somebody named, I can't pronounce this name. Eden says, I have an asylum grant. I need to travel and it's taking forever. If your asylum grant is taking forever and you are getting frustrated with the wait, then we can help you out. And what you need to do is send me an email. I'm going to put my email on the screen. I'm going to put my email on here. And you should put in the subject line, no more waiting. It's Joshua@jgoldlaw.com. Joshua@jgoldlaw.com. Put that in the subject line, no more waiting. Send an email to me. It'll get my direct attention, and me or someone on my team will reach out to you. I'm going to answer some more questions. Here's one from JDip on YouTube. My fiance is divorced through Sharia court. Will USCIS adopt this document? Sharia is a religious divorce, and whether the religious divorce is legal depends on the laws in the country where this happened. In the US, you need to get a civil divorce to be legally divorced. Divorce in a mosque is not going to help you. Whereas in Egypt, Somalia, Syria, Lebanon, the laws are different. And the State Department has a very helpful website that goes through these things, what's required for each divorce. If you email me, I'll send you a copy of this. Here's my email. But it depends. I mean, the best way to do that, I think, would be to contact a family lawyer in your home country and ask the family lawyer whether the divorce is legal. That's another way to do it. I hope that answer helps. Here's a question from a Facebook user. Does traveling a lot in filling out the DS-5535 cause excessive delays in administrative processing? I think that is a very good question. Well, let's back up a minute before I answer this. What causes excessive delays in administrative processing? The answer is a matter of pure speculation. No one knows what causes administrative processing delays. Nobody knows how long these things take. It's a subject of real mystery, whether what they're checking and how they're checking it, and maybe they're not even checking anything. We don't know. So that is disturbing and difficult, but I have a feeling that excessive travel may be a factor. So we had someone in Africa who worked as a pilot, and he was doing the Lord's work by flying relief missions to various countries as a pilot delivering humanitarian relief. So he flew to Afghanistan and Somalia and all these other countries like this. He had an extensive travel history, and his administrative processing was stuck. So that's a problem. But I think it does. But what can you do about it? I mean, the answer, sometimes people think, oh, I'm not going to tell the truth on my DS-55. If they're going to ask me for my travel history, I'm not going to tell them about it, because if I tell them I went to all these various countries, it's going to take longer. But if you do that, you've lied, and then it's going to be even worse. It's going to be even worse. Let's see some more questions. Um, we have more. um, any thoughts on EB2 retrogression? Is it this is from Ismail Ben Al Talia, on a friend of ours um, on YouTube. Any thoughts on EB2 retrogression? Is it expected to experience further retrogression? Um, well, no one knows whether the visa bulletin will retrogress. No one knows that. No one knows when or if they will retrogress. And so it's impossible to say. Um, it's impossible to say whether it will retrogress. It might. Um, we don't know. My own thought is that it's very cruel to retrogress, and it's difficult, and it's depressing, and I hate it. I hate retrogression because it hurts people, like people who've been waiting diligently. And that's why, if your priority date is current, it's very important for you to take action immediately. Very important. We have Jamala on YouTube. She says, "Hello, my friend. I saw you're live, and I was finding people who can help me about my work now, because I can't seem to find work. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you do find work. I hope you do. Our firm is hiring people for all sorts of positions right now. We have a tab on our website for open positions. So if anyone is looking for work, is talented, we would love to hear from you. Let's take some more questions. Let's go back to TikTok. How does employer sponsorship program work? Is it promising? Is it a thing? And the time frame? Well, first you have to find a job, and you have to have an employer that's willing to sponsor you for the position. There are temporary work visas, and there are permanent green card employment based immigration. And those are two different paths. And what you need to do is um, you need to decide, whether your employer will sponsor you. Now, if you're undocumented, you're not going to be able to take advantage of employment-based immigration. Let's see here. We have a question from some other people here. Sakib Shah, do you take E1 or E2 cases? We do. We do that. My husband was documentarily, this is from Wendy Piper on TikTok. My husband was documentarily qualified in September and still did not get his interview in Nigeria. Well, September was only a couple days away. I mean, were we talking September 2022? If that's the case, then I think that we could help you. But if it was only just a couple of months ago, then I think you should try to wait a little bit longer. Jamila on YouTube is looking for work. She's in Dubai. It's not easy to find work here. We hire people who are remote, so we have a lot of people from all over the world. If you're looking for work, check out our website. Here's a user from YouTube, Alias. I'm an applicant for an L1 and B2 visa from Germany with German and Iranian citizenship, and I waited for the L1 333 days and the B2 560 days. They're both under administrative processing. Does mandamus lawsuit help here? Absolutely, it helps. Absolutely, it helps. Elias, if you're watching, I can definitely, your case would qualify for representation in our firm. I'm going to give you the website, www.jgoldlaw.com. Go to that website. There's a link that says tell us about your case. You can click on that and you can give us some information. And after answering a few questions, we'll set you up with a free strategy session with a member of our team or even me. And we can sit down and go through how mandamus works, what the options are, what the costs are, etc. So, I mean, if you've waited 330 days, that's, that's ridiculous. You're not going to get that visa is not going to get unstuck without a lawsuit. And I'm sorry you're in that situation. Here's a question from Abdul Hadi Sadiq. I'm currently on, well, let's go back to LAS first. How long does it take because I'm losing my position? Well, most cases take 2 to 6 months. We have cases that have gotten approved in less than 2 months. We've got cases that take more than 6 months, but in the majority of cases, it's probably around 4 months, give or take. But we're filing cases between now and the end of the year. So if you really need help and it's urgent, then you should reach out to us and let's get started right away. We just got hired today by someone for mandamus, and we're going to get that case filed in a matter of days. So we could take your case as well. Here's a question from the possible police on TikTok. I'm answering questions from the police or the possible police. If our mandamus is successful, will my husband have to read? Hold on one second. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? You can hear me now. All right. I'm still having a little trouble with my audio. Let's see. Okay. I'm back. Now, all right. You can hear me now. It's back, but with bad. Is the audio bad? I think it's better. Hopefully it's okay. Here's a question from Sene Burhe. If you were the victim of a shooting incident and you're currently on asylum, is there anything that you can do to help? First of all, I'm very sorry that you were the victim of a shooting incident. I think, a lot of people in America love guns and love the culture of guns and believe that everybody has a right to a gun. And I, on the other hand, personally, my own personal view is that guns are one of the worst things about American society. And I admire other countries like in Europe and Japan where gun ownership is not a thing the way it is in the US, but that's my own personal view. But to answer your question, there's something called a U visa, Sine, for victims of a crime, and you may qualify. And if you contact us through our firm, we can help you with that. We can determine whether you qualify. Here's another question from Hadar Ali. Unobtainable police certificates from other countries. Please give me a little detail. Okay. I've been doing immigration law for more than 20 years, and I'm pretty good at it. And whenever I'm trying to get a police certificate from another country, I always like to hire an attorney in that country, because if I needed to get a police certificate here in Los Angeles, I know exactly how to do it. I make a few phone calls and someone goes over to the court and boom, 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 it's easy. But if I were trying to get a police certificate in in Ethiopia. I don't know how to do this. I mean, I got some information online, but I really would have no idea. Instead, what I would do is I would hire a an attorney in in Addis Ababa somehow, and I would have that attorney track down the documents. That's my general advice. And I mean, I have specific advice on every um, country. You can find this online. But if you can't find if you can't find the police certificate, then you it's hard. It's hard. You have to include, I usually include an affidavit with all the information that all the steps that I took to try to find this certificate. And it's very, very detailed. And those are hard cases. So it's better to find the certificate. Let's go back to the possible police. I was answering your question, then my microphone crapped out. So, um, let's see. So the question was, if our mandamus lawsuit is successful, will my husband have to redo the interview and medical exam in Abu Dhabi? So I'm guessing that this person may be Persian or Iranian. A lot of Persian, Iranian people need to do processing in Abu Dhabi. And what happens is they do the medical, they do the interview at great expense. And then things are delayed through no fault of their own. And then what happens is that the lawsuit that we handle helps them finally get approved. And this is great. But what happens then is that they're required to go back to the original consulate at great expense and do another medical, another interview. And this is a source of tremendous frustration and difficulty. But I think that if the consulate wants you to do another medical and do another interview, then that's the cost that you're going to have to pay in order to get the visa. It's not fair. It's frustrating. But that's the way it is. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what other questions we have. The real Megan 33, the real Megan. Thank you for joining us, real Megan 33. Can USCIS send you and your partner 2 different interview dates? I've never seen that in my career. But I would have both of you appearing at the same time. I would have both of you go to both interviews, and you should definitely lawyer up for that. And we could help you with it because something's not right. And maybe they want to, Sine, it's the U visa, but you something seems a little off with that. I would lawyer up and I would have both of you go to the interview and we could help you. Asma Mustak says hi, and I say hi back to you. Thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell me where you're joining us from? I'd love to hear that. I am in downtown Los Angeles right now. Let me know where you are. I'd be really curious to find out. I would love, I'm getting excited for the holidays. Asma Mustak, why are we getting so many motions to dismiss cases now? I'm in AP for 4 months and your people said we can file after 4 months, but we were afraid to do it. Look, Asma, a motion to dismiss is not necessarily a bad thing. In my opinion, you'd rather be approved without a motion to dismiss. But if you want to get your visa, you got to fight for it. They're not going to give you the visa without a fight. That's not fair. That's not right. You deserve a decision on your case within a reasonable period of time. But nevertheless, some of these cases, some of the time, requires some effort. And we respond to motions to dismiss all the time. We get them all the time, probably in 30% of our cases, roughly. And we fight back and we fight to win. And there's no reason to be discouraged by that. We've had cases where we get motion to dismiss, the visas get issued. We've had cases where we've responded to a motion to dismiss and lost the case. The government's motion to dismiss was granted and the case was dismissed, and then someone gets their visa. So all I care about, my definition of victory, is when you get your visa within a reasonable period of time. And if it requires a motion to dismiss, then bring it on. I'm willing to fight on your behalf. We do these all the time. If you want an easy, simple solution that doesn't require any effort and is not going to have you do a motion to dismiss, then, I can't help you. I can't help you. What is a reasonable amount of time? Boy, that is a great question. Lots of judges and lawyers and attorneys have all sorts of definitions of what is a reasonable period of time. And it also changes based on every single type of case. Just to give you one example, if you apply for naturalization and you have a naturalization interview, by law, if they don't make a decision within 120 days of the interview, you can go to court, you can file a lawsuit, and you can have a federal judge take over the case. On the other hand, if you file for asylum, we had a judge that ruled that a 3.5-year delay was perfectly reasonable. I don't agree with that ruling. But nevertheless, we have all sorts of different ideas on this. So, we have a form on our website, which is www.jgoldlaw. And the link said, tell us about your case if you need help. And in that link, when you tell us about your case, it's a bunch of questions they're going to ask you to give you details of your case. And we ask you about how long your case has been pending. And if your case has been pending for a sufficient amount of time to qualify for a mandamus lawsuit, then we set up an appointment with you. But it's hard to say. In order for me to figure out how long, whether your case has gone into the unreasonable delay territory, then we would have to look at the details. Does priority date matter when filing a lawsuit? Yes, it does matter. Your priority date has to be current for your case type and your priority date per the most recent visa bulletin. And you also have to have filed it and the last action on the case has to be creating a situation where there's been an unreasonable delay. In my opinion, that is important. Going back through questions. What questions do you have? Uh-oh, I passed someone by. I asked 3 times why you're passing me by. I'm sorry, brother. Let me go back and find your question. Aha, forgive me. We have Egg to Tunk TR. Is it possible to overcome 214B for an O1? So let's talk about that. So in O1 visa, hang on one second. I think that an O1 visa should never have 214B. Let me explain what I mean by that, my friend. 214B is for visas that are non-immigrant visas, like a tourist visa or a student visa. And 214B is when your visa is denied, refused, not issued, because non-immigrant visas are for people who have the intention of returning to their home country. They demonstrate that intention by having deep ties to their home country. If you get denied under 214B, it means that the the consulate does not think that you're actually going to return to your home country. They think that at the end of your visitor visa or student visa, that you're going to stay in the US in violation of the non-immigrant visa requirement that you go back to your home country. An O1 visa is not a non-immigrant visa. This is a dual intent visa. You can say that you're going to emigrate to the US with an O1 visa, or you can say, I'm going to go back to my home country with the O1 visa. So, in my opinion, no O1 visa should ever be denied for 214B. That's my opinion. But on the other hand, the question is, what can you do about it? And we have in the US something called the doctrine of consular non-reviewability. It's one of my least favorite laws in immigration law. And it says that whatever crappy decision the consulates make, there's nothing you can do about it because they get the final say and there's no way to appeal it. So the answer to your question is that there probably is not a way to overcome it. But I would ask the consulate, see if you can get them to respond and tell them that the O1 visa is non-immigrant, is a dual intent visa. So how could they actually, now that I think about it, you could ask for a formal legal opinion through LegalNet. That's what I would do for that particular type of case. Contact me. I could help you with this. I hope that helps. I don't think applying again would be a good solution. They use computers, so they're going to see that you had your case at another time. Let's see. What other questions do you have? Let me know. Let me know.